So the first of my look back series projects is going to be Beast Machines. I was the art director and one of the concept designers on the project. We had worked at Mainframe Entertainment really closely with Hasbro to realize the vision of the project. We were really inspired by Mike Mignola and his Hellboy series, the hard blacks, that really graphic novel approach, and we wanted to try and emulate that. We'd worked on a few television series, and we all wanted to push the look a little bit more. We thought we could do more with CG, so we spent about 4 or 5 months in development. Myself on the design side with Hasbro, and on the art direction side, Casey Kwan, the lighting and effects supervisor on that side. And then we had the effects team themselves, Mike Musalem leading that up to create some very graphic, visually gorgeous effects. It was a lot of fun, really hard work. We were trying to really push the boundaries, like I said, of what was possible during this time. We didn't have a lot of ability to do that. So let's dive in. I've got the project up here. So let's see. What I want to focus in on is the characters that I worked on. It pretty well starts the ball rolling on everything. It starts from there. So we were working on initial sketches from Hasbro, which looked like this beautiful sketch from them. And that was sort of what they were hoping for and looking for this sort of hybrid, organic, robotic creature. And so we wanted to try and emulate that. So my job was to really try and figure that out. And I tried to play that in with Cheetor and Rat Trap here to try and get that same sort of ratio, and really make sure we're getting what the client was excited about. And so that's what we were going for. There was so much difficult things, obviously, to do here. Let me just get a different pen, and I'll get a different color here. But, all of these fur edges, back in our infancy, that was going to be really difficult. The drawings are interesting, but the challenges in them are very sophisticated. And, CG at that point wasn't ready to be able to handle that for the most part. It just wasn't. And so that was a lot of fun, and we had to change a few things there. And so for the bigger character design, this is the big drawing I did of Cheetor in his beast form. We were really excited about the potential of this. Obviously, we swapped that head to this head, as it says there, again, to match that sort of ratio from organic to mechanical. But again, so many subtle areas that would have been incredibly difficult to manage. Like, how is fur even going to move? We all saw it in Beast Wars. They're all pretty hard surfaced with a textured fur. Getting this type of furry natural edge was going to be almost impossible. And so if you look at the final form of Cheetor, you can see that we don't have a lot of any fur, right? These are, if you look at his forearm, more of a high-tech plated metal look with some fins. And again, he was more of an organic looking robot rather than a hybrid organic machine, which we initially hoped for, but we couldn't get. The other thing that we really wanted to do but we just couldn't get it. Nowadays, a toon shader, which is basically putting outlines on items or on assets, it was almost impossible to generate. It was really complicated, edge detection, what's facing the camera, all of those things. It was really hard. So, that it's sort of the look was compromised a bit because of that, because we couldn't match that. We couldn't figure out how to do that, which is really too bad. We really wanted to go for something a bit like what I'm doodling here, but it just wasn't going to happen. We just could not do it. And I think CPU-wise, render-wise, it was just way too render-intensive to figure this stuff out. So, but it would have really, helped solidify that look. But we had an incredibly talented team, both at Hasbro and on the mainframe side. And it was a labor of love trying to figure this out, try to really push the visual envelope of CG at that time. It was really exciting. The company gave us the time frame to do the research, gave us the time to figure it out as best we could, and then let us try and see it through in production. So that was just a great time trying to figure this stuff out. But I'll put a link below to an image store that I have, an image store, image repository of all the images I've got on hand. You guys can check those out. And please, if you've got any thoughts or comments on this, or would like to know anything else, any other info, I would be more than happy to answer some questions about the project. All right, so thanks for stopping by. It was a great look back at this. Look for more of these to come. I've worked on a ton of projects, so enjoy the next one. Thanks a lot.